Welcome to another video by Flat Earth Trads. Please subscribe, like and share it. Like and share it.
Response to Robert Sungenis. Scripture most certainly says all of the above, depending on translation. For instance, the passage that says, welded it as a square block of stone, we know that came from the book Christian Topography by Cosmas of Indiocoplastes, and it's clearly explained in the footnote. He has inclined heaven to earth, and it has been poured out as dust of the earth. I have welded it as a square block of stone. Cosmas, in quoting the Old Testament, always used the Septuagint. The English Revised Version reads, for Job 38:38, when the dust runneth into a mass, and the clouds cleave fast together. Response to Robert Sungenis. The Lord reigneth, he is clothed with majesty, the Lord is clothed with strength, wherein he has girded himself. The world is also established that it cannot be moved. By this and other passages beyond Sungenis' list of fathers, we know the earth has a foundation, is fixed and unmoving. Here is one that is a little easier to understand, but there are more. He riseth up out of the dust, and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set him among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them. 1 Samuel 2:8. Pillars and foundations are used interchangeably by the fathers, and both are totally inconsistent with a ball earth dangling without a foundation in space. The fathers have more to say about the tabernacle, the church, and the earth that all bring all these passages to life. Critic. Also on Sungenis' list includes St. Cyril of Jerusalem, who taught earth as a globe. Well, not so much as we see below. Robert Sungenis. Let's look at what Cyril says. For according to the according to extent of universal space, we must reckon the number of its inhabitants. The whole earth is but a point in the midst of the one heaven, and yet contains so great a multitude. What a multitude must the heaven in which it encircles it contain? Unquote. So here we see that earth is a point, not a flat disk, in the vast heavens. Flat earthers believe that the heavens are really no larger than the flat earth, since they believe the heavens are only 3,000 miles high, while the flat earth is 24,000 miles in diameter. So how could the earth be a point in the flat earth model? Additionally, Cyril says that the heavens encircle the earth. The flat earth model does not encircle the earth. It is a dome that half encircles the earth. Only in the spherical model can the whole heavens encircle the earth. Response to Robert Sungenis. You have not fully examined what St. Cyril believed, but made his words fit your model. Cyril saying earth is a point suggests that heaven compared to earth is vast, and in no way suggests that heavens encircle a ball earth. St. Cyril did not describe the globe earth in his works as seen in his quote below, but conveyed the common understanding of the fathers to paint a picture of a flat earth bound to the firmament with heaven above that. Regarding the foundations, pillars, and firmament, the following paragraph shows a common understanding that earth and heaven are bound together with the firmament dividing the two. The Douay even uses the term bundle when referring to creation, that is, heaven and earth are bundled together. In J.L.E. Dreyer, A History of Planetary Systems in 1906, a limited preview is here, and Severian is on page 211-2. A contemporary of Basil, Cyril of Jerusalem lays great stress on the necessity of accepting as real the supercelestial waters, while a younger contemporary of Basil, Severinus, Bishop of Gabala, speaks out even more strongly and in more detail his 6 orations of the creation of the world, in which the cosmical system sketched in the first chapter of Genesis is explained. On the first day God made the heaven, not the one we see, but the one above that, the whole forming a house of 2 stories, with a roof in the middle and waters above that. Also this from Wiki. The literal interpretation of the Bible was totally followed by the leaders of the Syrian church, who accepted only the cosmogony of Genesis. Some contemporaries of Basil, Cyril of Jerusalem, and Severian of Gabala agreed with the creation of the world according to Genesis. The heaven is not a sphere, but a tent, a tabernacle, a vault, or a curtain. The earth is flat, and the sun does not pass under it at night, but travels through the northern parts hidden by a wall. Diodorus, bishop of Tarsus, who died in 394, was against those atheists who believed in the geocentric system. And St. Jerome wrote violently against those who followed the stupid wisdom of the philosophers. Amos 9:6 goes on to say, stories in the Vulgate, upper chambers, or the stages by which the ascent to the highest heavens. His troop, or vault, the word is used for the bonds of the yoke in Isaiah 58:6, for the bunch of hyssop in Exodus 12:22. So the Vulgate here renders facilicum suum with the notion that the stories or chambers just mentioned are bound together to connect heaven and earth. But the clause means God hath founded the vault or firmament of heaven upon, not in, the earth, where his throne is placed, and whence he sends the rain. The Septuagint renders his promise. So the Syriac, the waters of the sea, the references to the deluge. Critic. A limited preview is here, and Severian can be found on 211.2. And the explanation of the two stories of earth is listed here, as well as other places that won't be covered in this video. Robert Sungenis says, Servian was not on my list of 16 fathers, and neither was Cosmas, so why are either of them mentioned here by the critic? Response to Robert Sungenis, I used the entire paragraph to include a response about Cyril of Jerusalem. The rest came as a bonus. Critic, no globe believer teaches that there is a body of water above earth or in space. Robert Sungenis says, that is false. Response to Robert Sungenis, okay, we'll concede this point. I failed to finish the sentence with the words, using scripture, which would then say, no globe believer teaches that there is a body of water above earth or in space using scripture. Critic. Further explanation tells us, the literal interpretation of the Bible was totally followed by the leaders of the Syrian church, who accepted only the cosmology of Genesis. Some contemporaries of Basil, the Severian of Gabala, and others agreed with the creation of the world of according to Genesis. That heaven is not a sphere, but a tent, a tabernacle, a vault, or a curtain. That earth is flat, and the sun does not pass it at night, but it travels through the northern parts hidden by a wall. Robert Sungenis says, assertions are merely assertions. We saw that fathers, in consensus, did not say that heaven is a tent or that earth is flat. For more information, consult my book, Flat Earth, Flat Wrong. Response to Sungenis. Scripture says it literally, and the fathers expound on it in the same sense. Scripture says, quote, Isaiah 40:22, it is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. Unquote. Scripture most certainly says the heavenly firmament is like a tent, and the persons whom you accuse of assertions are the fathers based on Scripture. Rather than trying to debunk flat earth in order to save face, look to the fathers. Critic. So Sungenis' claims about St. Cyril are definitely a problem, as he is known to teach flat earth cosmogony. The firmament is as a tent, like a tabernacle, etc. Such descriptions do not describe features of a globe. Robert Sungenis. Quite the contrary, as we saw above when I quoted Cyril. Response to Robert Sungenis. Cyril is recognized by Wikipedia and others as a flat earther, as shown above, so Sungenis must have misunderstood. He also missed Scripture's words that the firmament is like a tent, He also continues to miss what the fathers are saying in general because his mind is fixed on the globe. Critic. Another saint on Sungenis' list of fathers who taught that Earth is a globe is Saint Clement of Alexandria. Again, Sungenis' information is inaccurate as historians reveal, quote, other notable fathers of the Church who taught flat geocentric Earth are Theophilus of Antioch in the 2nd century and Clement of Alexandria in the 3rd, based in the 7th verse of the 1st chapter of Genesis. Both taught that spread over the earth was a solid vault, a firmament, and they added the passage from Isaiah in which it is declared that the heavens are stretched out like a curtain, and again, like a tent to dwell in. This quote comes from A History of the Warfare of Science with Theology and Christendom by Andrew Dickinson White, historian. Robert Sungenis. So instead of looking up Clement of Alexandria to see what he says, this critic quotes from a known anti-Christian. Let's do it right. Let's see what Clement says. Here Clement refers to the first day of creation in which God made the earth. For Clement, God created the earth into a sphere from its shapeless mass, and how the earth and sea should their place keep, and with the seasons in their circling course, winter and summer, spring and autumn, each should come according to the well-ordered plan. Out of a confused heap who created this ordered sphere, and from the shapeless mass of matter did the universe shorn. This from the book The Instructor, Book 3, Chapter 12. In some passages, Robert continues, Clement points out that even the Greek philosophers regarded certain Christian beliefs, one of them being that the earth was a fixed sphere, and that 7 planets moved, and that the Lord's Day, Plato prophetically speaks to the 10th book of the Republic in these words, quote, and when the 7 days have passed to each of them in the meadow, in the 8th they are to set out and arrive in 4 days, unquote. By the meadow, it is to be understood the fixed sphere as a being mild and genial spot and the locality of the pious, and by the 7 days each motion of the 7 planets and the whole practical art which speeds to the end of the rest. Response to Sungenis. Clement's use of the word sphere has nothing to do with the earth being a sphere, but he describes the sphere as creation, using terms to show that he's talking about more than the earth. It is Sungenis who says that Clement said earth is a sphere because Clement never said that. People often make this mistake, but until you've thoroughly researched this, people like Sungenis should hold back their opinion. Sungenis can complain about Dickinson White being an anti-Christian, but misses the point of his book, which is used to teach the Catholic Fathers, uses the teaching of the Catholic Fathers in order to show how stupid they were for believing the earth is flat. In other words, Dickinson White believes like Sungenis does, that the earth is a sphere, and he tries to make the church look stupid for the Fathers' teachings. Furthermore, as bad as Dickinson White is, he was a masterful historian, and his work is well sourced. Before you toss him into the round file, check the sources on what the Fathers actually said.
We hope that you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share.